What's up, fellow adult collectors? Welcome to SeViLion Collectibles. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Mortal Kombat 3 versions of Sub-Zero and Smoke made by Storm Collectibles. There was an unmasked version of Sub-Zero in MK3 that Storm actually does have a prototype figure for, but this version is considered a classic ninja suit and did not make an appearance until Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. This Cyber Smoke that you see on the right, however, was the same in both versions of the game. Cyber Smoke became available last year as a New York Comic Con exclusive, but has since made its way to various online stores, while Sub-Zero became available towards the end of February or early into March. He is not exclusive to any particular outlet, therefore he can be found much easier. Once Smoke and Sub-Zero finish their full rotation on the display, we'll get right into all the details about each one of them individually. If this is your first time landing on my channel, hi, my name is SeViL, and here I like to discuss action figures and other collectibles based on my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Since these are just repaints or recolored versions of previous figures, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the figures themselves. Instead, if you want to learn more about the details of each individual sculpt, I'll direct you to the reviews of those figures such as Scorpion and Cyrax. I'll put individual links to each one in the description, plus I'll put a playlist link at the top of the comments. For now though, these guys do come with a whole lot of brand new accessories, so let's take a look at those, starting with Sub-Zero. The Lin Kuei Warrior comes with 2 new sets of Ice Blast, 3 pairs of hands, 2 blood effects, and a new version of the ripped out spine and skull. It's pretty similar to the one that came with the MK1 Sub-Zero, but I do think the paint's a little bit better, making it slightly more gruesome. Most of the extra hands are all just like the pairs that came with Scorpion, except for this one. It has a rather eye-popping blood and gore piece added to it. One of Sub-Zero's fatalities in this costume was him punching forward towards the opponent's face, but the screen went black, so you never actually saw what happened. You just heard the opponent scream. So, I think this is Storm's take on what that fatality might have been. It's one of the few times in Mortal Kombat's history where you weren't actually able to see the gruesome results of a fatality. The piece itself does come right off the hand, so it could potentially be used without the characters, but it would still need to be on a hand that's at least somewhat similar to this one. The other blood effect is much more universal as long as it can be placed on a foot in similar size to the ninjas. Sub-Zero can kick Scorpion, or Scorpion could kick Sub-Zero. Even the Cyber Lin Kuei could kick Sub-Zero, or probably just any other character you'd like to use it with. Moving on to the Ice Blast, they are pretty cool. Yes, I just said that. The main base for the forward shooting Ice Blast has 2 palm prints on the backside that you're supposed to be able to put in the flat palmed hands into for him to be able to hold it up. However, I never could get that to work. Everything else though is fairly straightforward. The front of the base has small notches on it, each with a unique shape, meant to hold a specific spike. It is kind of heavy once you've got it all together, which was most of the problem with trying to get Sub-Zero to hold it the correct way. Even holding it this way, you need to lean him back in order for him not to fall forward. The ground ice works basically the same way, except now you've got 2 separate ends to work with. The puddle piece that actually sits on the ground, and then the smaller piece that's projected from his hands. Just like before, each piece and hole all have unique shapes, that way it all plugs in to specific locations. This blast set was a little more frustrating to put together because it was a bit of a struggle keeping everything in place while I added each piece. Once it's all together, however, there's not really any certain way Sub-Zero is meant to hold it. You basically just put it on the floor somewhere in front of him near his hands. And of course, there is an instruction sheet in the box detailing all this stuff out. Now, I'm going to move on to Cyber Smoke. To me, its primary defining accessories are the smoke effects. To put them on, you have to remove the arms from the shoulder sockets. Be careful doing this because the butterfly joint piece is just loose in there and can come off and get lost. The flat parts of the smoke effect slide underneath the soft rubber parts of the chest piece. Once it's in there and you got the arms back on, it makes everything a bit tighter, so it's in there pretty snugly. It might move around a bit while you're messing with your articulation, but without a lot of extra force, it shouldn't come back out. Just like with Cyrax before, the chest piece does open up to reveal more going on underneath. However, Cyrax didn't have anything to plug in this hole, but as you might have guessed, Smoke does. When Smoke was just a human ninja in Mortal Kombat 2, his only special moves were rehashes of scorpions, a spear, and teleport. Therefore, the natural progression of that was Cyber Smoke getting his own harpoon. The sculpt and color of the piece is done really well, but I do kind of wish it had one of those bendy wires in the middle to be able to reshape it. It's stuck in this pose. Smoke's next accessory is an extension pole that can be attached to either shoulder. It has one pivot point near the base and another near the claw, so it can be manipulated and angled a little bit differently, but not too much. The claw itself can rotate as well as move up and down, plus each side can open and close independently, so that you can use it to grab different items. The primary thing it's meant to grab is this bomb. In the game, this was his fatality. He would use the claw to shove the bomb down an opponent's throat, and therefore they explode. Overall, this whole little setup does function really well and looks pretty nice. Smoke also has this yellow bomb, which is just like the one that came with Cyrax. But in Smoke's case, he gets 4. This falls in line with Smoke's other fatality, which was shooting out so many of these that the entire planet Earth exploded. With all the accessories now looked at, I do want to show some quick comparisons with these characters' previous incarnations. The new Sub-Zero has a much brighter blue color to his suit, which does make it a little more screen accurate than the MK2 version. But, as I noted in my MK3 Scorpion review, the way Storm Collectibles does these suits isn't quite screen accurate. In the end though, it still looks great to me anyway. Cyber Smoke really was this purple color in Mortal Kombat 3, but I do kind of wish it had been more silver or gray like the Human Smoke. If you do actually have the Human Smoke figure with the smoke effects on him, you can actually transfer those onto the Cyber Smoke. Doing so may not really be all that accurate either, but for me it adds to the overall aesthetic of the character. So, with all that said, it's time to run this Storm Collectibles Smoke and Sub-Zero through my guidelines for a complete and fair review. Neither of these figures had new sculpts, but they were both still highly detailed. While the Smoke figure is incredibly accurate to the character, I can't say the same for Sub-Zero because of the design choices in the suit. They do have more than 20 points of articulation, and while they are in scale with the newer Storm Mortal Kombat figures, they are not in scale with the original MK1 and 2 ninjas. They do both balance really well, and come with plenty of accessories. I didn't have any quality control issues with either figure, and while Sub-Zero was pretty easy to find online at his normal retail price, Smoke is a different story. Because he was originally New York Comic Con exclusive, he's getting to be more scarce, and therefore his aftermarket price is getting higher and higher. Therefore, leading my final score to a 7 out of 10 star rating, meaning they are still pretty amazing and worth owning for all fans of the characters. So if you've already got some of the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures on your shelves, these are definitely worth adding to it. Or, if you're just now looking to get started with Storm Collectibles, jumping in with the Mortal Kombat 3 characters is a great place to jump in. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video,
get over here!
And subscribe to SeViLion Collectibles.